Hello everyone, FreshMeka here with my final video of 2016. And let me just say first off, I do apologize for not releasing videos like I should have done this year, and that I promise that 2017 will be better. Now this video I'm tackling is the best and the worst of 2016. That means there's only going to be one best cartoon of 2016, only one worst cartoon of 2016. Just so I can kind of go into depth about what I like and hate about these shows respectively. The first show I'm going to tackle, which is the worst, to me is the Powerpuff Girls reboot, aka Powerpuff Girls 2016. This show failed on many levels. I would have respected it slightly more if it would have went maybe a Teen Titans Go route, but instead of that, it fully tried to reboot the show in ways that didn't need to be rebooted. My first problem with the show is the change in voice acting. Don't get me wrong, I give the young ladies props for probably being fans of the show and thinking that it probably was a good idea. But hopefully next time, them or their parents will carefully think their roles out better next time. Because it seems that almost all the female characters were recast with the exception of Jennifer Hale. So next time, Cartoon Network, if you plan on rebooting a show, make sure that the original cast gets to come back, especially if they want to. Because the original voice actresses wanted to come back, and there was no reason why you couldn't invite them back. Number 2, what happened with Miss Bellum? When I was a little girl, I never saw Miss Bellum as this extremely overly sexualized character. Yeah, you kind of noticed that she was a bit shapely for a children's cartoon, but it's just something that you got used to, especially if you've seen other cartoons like Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series, where the women had shapes, they had bodies. It's just something that was natural, and as a woman, it's okay to see that on TV because little girls are going to have shapes when they get older. There was no reason for them to have gotten rid of her, because they want to stop little girls from going through puberty and going through important issues like that, because we all go through it regardless, unless you have a condition that prevents you from doing so. So to Nick Jennings, you had no reason removing Miss Bellum. She was an awesome character, and especially her battle with Sedusa was probably one of my favorite moments of that show. That's how you do girl power. Next issue is the changing of the characters. I've noticed Cartoon Network kind of tends to go with an extreme destruction of their characters' personalities. If you look at Teen Titans Go, in which all of the characters have been destroyed, and I mean destroyed. That in a way, Powerpuff Girls wasn't as bad as Go, but boy is it noticeable. I hated Bubbles being a part of the meme generation. I can't stand memes. Some of them, especially if you know about them before they become like this, annoy you. Like with the Nut Shack thing. I knew about the Nut Shack when it came out. I used to watch MTV a lot. Stuff like that I don't want to see characters being a part of, because we have to deal with that in real life. Then there's, Blossom, who's the leader, but she's kind of extreme OCD tendencies and not there for her sisters like she used to be. Buttercup is an extreme tomboy, way more than she needed to be. And like I said, Bubbles is just like a preteen stereotype. And I have preteens in my family who don't act like that. So that's shameful to see the destruction of the characters. And then the villains. Does anyone know anything about the new villains? Anything at all? Because I know they're unmemorable to me. I don't even remember who they are. I just know about the originals. And that's sad to say, when you're establishing characters, make them memorable. But they did not. Last but not least on my topic of Powerpuff Girls 2016 is going with themes you have no idea about. They had no reason to tackle the transgender community and use it in a way that completely backfired. My Sweet Horn was probably one of the most embarrassing episodes I've ever seen of trying to teach a moral art message. It was just awful. Had no reason to do that because you failed more than you helped. As someone who knows members of the LGBT community, that episode completely made my stomach churn. And it made me feel mad towards Nick Jennings and whoever wrote that episode. You know better. And everybody at least knows someone who's a member of the community. If you don't, then an episode like that is not going to teach you anything. How is that episode supposed to teach young children who are going through trans issues? How is that supposed to help them? It pretty much made them feel worse, if you ask me. So that's another reason why I can't stand it. And my final thoughts on Powerpuff Girls 2016, I'm not surprised it has low ratings. I am not surprised whatsoever. The show was horrible. It takes a good show and destroys it, ruins it, something that was good. And it's completely an embarrassment on the legacy of the Powerpuff Girls. People like me whose favorite cartoon of all time is the Powerpuff Girls, that's an embarrassment. And Cartoon Network, please, if you're gonna reboot stuff, do it right, involve the original creators. Because if you don't, it's gonna fail just like that one. Alright everybody, enough of the worst. Here is my best cartoon of 2016. This one was a hard one, but I'm gonna have to go with The Loud House. The Loud House to me is hilarious, it's fun, it gives me a classic cartoon vibe. That's what I want to see. Something that's wholesome for the family, and something that adults can love and kids can love separately. That's why I love The Loud House. You know, Lincoln and his 10 sisters. In the beginning, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I had a bit of a notion against the kind of middle child trope because I kind of always thought it was getting a little played out. But The Loud House completely changed my mind when I saw it. It's now one of my favorite cartoons that Nickelodeon has made in recent years. The Loud House is hilarious. Each one of the sisters has their own distinct personality. It's funny to see their interactions. Because how in the world is a boy supposed to live with 10 sisters? And the same thing could be said for one sister living with 10 brothers. It's a funny concept. I love the way everyone gets along. I love the dialogue. I love the storylines. And it's just something to me that all kids can relate to. Because who can't relate to Lincoln? Because I know everyone can, whether you're in a big family, a small family, everyone can relate to Lincoln. What's it like having to stand out among so many different personalities? How do you get along with this group of people where everyone is just so different? And then you have his issues at school and popularity and different stuff like that that we can relate to. So I really do love The Loud House. Chris Savino did a good job with this show. And I'm hoping that the show does well, that it lasts, because we all know what's happening with Harvey Binks. A show in which I actually legit enjoyed. Because I'm a huge fan of C.H. Greenblatt. I love his cartoons. And I'm hoping that The Loud House continues to prosper and do well like it's been doing. Because I believe it's more popular right now than SpongeBob. And it takes a lot to dethrone the yellow sponge. It takes a lot. So before I move off, I'm going to tell you guys kind of things that I love about the show. Again, you know, more stuff. I love Lincoln. Lincoln is probably one of my favorite characters I've seen in a show in a while. Because I love just seeing a show being told so well from the mind of a child. Because Lincoln tells the episode so very well. And I love his interactions with his sisters. You know, it's like any other problem. Siblings get into problems. We have our differences. We have our issues. But at the end of the day, all we got to do is come back together, help each other. And that's what makes the world better. That's what makes your family better. And of course, it's funny to see Lincoln trying to prove his manliness in certain episodes because he's been around his sisters so long. That's something else that I know from a real life experience with one of my cousins. You know, you're surrounded by all these females, so yeah, you know, it's like you gotta prove yourself, prove your guyness. But there's nothing wrong with still getting along with, you know, the females in your family. It doesn't make you any bad, any different, because you can still be you at the end of the day. And I really love the show's telling and the morals that it has. Because there's been a few episodes where Lincoln has, you know, done things to kind of embarrass his sisters or get on his sisters' nerves. I've done something that it's not intentionally hurting them, but it does hurt them. And in the end, he will do whatever he can to try to make it up. Like the episode in which he was competing for the video because his sisters had trophies in their closets. I think the episode is called Just In Case or something similar to that. Where his sisters have trophies and he doesn't. So he's trying to enter the video contest to see if he can, you know, be in the wall just like his sisters. So what happens is he does this stunt, which I think this stunt is pretty cool. But then again, you know, I grew up with shows like, you know, Jackass and shows like that, where there are stunts and stuff like that. So I grew up with shows like that, so I love stunts. Well, to me, Lincoln's stunt was really good, but this is a different generation now where funny is the thing. Because, you know, look at PewDiePie and all those people who have the most subscribed channels. People watch them more for their comedy than they do anything else. So then, you know, Lincoln gets the idea, you know what, let's do something funny. Well, he gets it from Luann. And of course, instead of it being normally what you thought it would be, which is maybe, well, I originally thought the episode was going to go like maybe do like little pranks and stuff. But he ends up, filming his sister's most embarrassing moments. Does he end up on top? Yeah, he does. But at the extent of his sisters, and his sisters become disappointed in him. So Lincoln instead filmed himself embarrassing himself so that it can be like, everyone can be embarrassed together and it won't be one-sided. He doesn't win the trophy in the end, but he learns a lesson, and his sisters still reward him by giving him a trophy anyway. So it's stuff like that I really enjoy about the Loud House. It's a great cartoon, great family cartoon that everyone can sit down and watch together. And that's kind of how I wish PPG, Powerpuff Girls 2016, would have done that, because the original Powerpuff Girls, it had action, it had violence, it had its moments. But families could still get together and sit down and watch it, because of the fact that Craig McCracken was inspired by earlier cartoons from the Hanna-Barbera area. So there's no reason why Powerpuff Girls 2016 failed like it did as compared to the Loud House. But then again, the Loud House is its own entity, so that kind of explains it. So I'm looking for 2017 to please release more cartoons like the Loud House. We need more cartoons like that show. If you're gonna do a reboot, do it right. Like for instance, the DuckTales cartoon is coming up. And yes, it's a whole new cast. But I'm hoping, and from what I've seen, it looks like it's gonna be good. So please, this is the Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, whoever. 2017, make it a year of good cartoons. No more failures. Yes, I know Teen Titans Go has done well, but Go is a rare exception. So 2017, here's to good animation. If you're going to do reboots, do it right. And we need more family-friendly programming like the Loud House. Alright everyone, that's all for now. Happy New Year. FreshMeka's out.